It's Wednesday, May 6, 2026, and welcome to the Global News and Commentary Network. Is the Iran war a small price to pay? My wife and I had a discussion about it this morning, and have a listen. But before we begin, let me discuss about my own situation. I'm 73 years old. I'm a white, non-college educated Caucasian man, and I am a Democrat. I vote for Democrats. However, my wife voted for Trump in 2016, and she will never vote for Trump again, she says. And let's find out why. And we'll be talking about this headline right here, the very small price to pay. The rising gas prices and rising everything is a very small price to pay, according to Trump, who doesn't know what it's like to live month to month on a paycheck with rising gas prices and rising grocery prices and rising everything prices, because Trump is waging an unnecessary war in Iran. Have a listen.
Its war of choice in Iran tells us anything, it's that Donald Trump has no plan. He had no plan at the start of his war, and now he has no plan to get out of his war.
We're in a little skirmish, military. I call it a skirmish because Iran has no chance. They never did. They know it.
The fact that day to day Donald Trump can refer to his war in Iran as a war, then a detour, then a skirmish, shows that there are wide gaps between reality and the words Trump is using about his war. And it's the global economy that is suffering as the chaos in the Strait of Hormuz escalates instead of winding down.
The ceasefire is not over. Ultimately, this is a separate and distinct project, and we expected there would be some churn at the beginning, which happened. And we said we would defend and defend aggressively, and we absolutely have. Iran knows that, and ultimately, the president's going to make a decision whether anything were to escalate into a violation of a ceasefire.
They've fired at U.S. ships several times in the last 24 hours. What do they need to do to violate the ceasefire?
Well, you'll find out, because I'll let you know. They know what to do, and they know what to do. And they know what not to do, more importantly, actually. But they respect us. They didn't used to respect us, but they respect us more than we've ever been respected.
This is a defensive operation, and what that means is very simple. There's no shooting unless we're shot at first. Okay, we're not attacking them. But if they're attacking us, or they're attacking a ship, you need to respond to that.
That's rich, considering that it was Donald Trump who decided to attack Iran in the first place, which led to Iran closing the Strait of Hormuz.
Based on the request of Pakistan and other countries, the tremendous military success that we have had during the campaign against the country of Iran, and additionally the fact that great progress in G and P, capital G and capital P. He wants us to think great progress has been made, when actually the world has gone backwards since Trump attacked Iran. The fact that great progress has been made toward a complete and final agreement. Notice that he capitalizes this, complete and final agreement. He's trying to tell us that they're coming down onto the very final agreement. We're going to get this all sorted out. And any day now, everything's going to be resolved, and that's simply not going to happen.
I mean, I pray that's true, but...
Yeah, it would be nice if it was true, but obviously it's not going to happen.
But then again, the words are coming from Trump.
Yeah, and we know not to trust any words coming from Trump. So the fact that great progress has been made toward a complete and final agreement with the representatives of Iran. Now notice that representatives of Iran are capitalized. This capitalization by Trump is important. It shows his mind. He's trying to convince us that he's talking to the representatives of Iran. Now the real government of Iran says that Trump is not talking to them at all. So who he's talking to, whoever it is not somebody that can make decisions for the country of Iran. Only the government of Iran can do that, unfortunately. The fact that great progress has been made toward a complete and final agreement with representatives of Iran, we have mutually agreed, which they haven't, that while the blockade will remain in full force and effect, in other words, Trump saying, oh, we've agreed that the blockade will remain in full force and effect, Project Freedom, the movement of ships through the Strait of Hormuz, will be paused for a short period of time to see whether or not the agreement can be finalized and signed. This is complete bullshit.
Which basically means this is the only way Trump can concede.
It just means well, what it really means, I think, is that they figured out that they can't move ships through the Strait of Hormuz, so they're just going to walk away and say that this is other countries' problems. It's not our problem, and just walk away. But they can't, because it is our problem, because the gas prices are going up.
And we're still blocking the Strait of Hormuz.
And even we are still blocking the Strait of Hormuz, which is why Iran is blocking the Strait of Hormuz now, according to them. They would be willing to remove the blockade and enter into real negotiations with Trump if we get the hell out of there. But not Trump. He can't admit defeat for anything. And therefore, he will continue this war. And gas prices, like they are in Cuba,
all retail, all goods, all everything. We are the ones paying for this war, not only with our money, but with our lives.
Yeah, my wife and I live on a fixed income. We're retired. And I spent all the money I had put aside for the future, I put into repairing this house that needed a lot of repair. Now we've got a good house. We've got, it's paid for. We have no debts. Our cars are paid for. We have no credit card debt. And we depend on a small income from Social Security, 2 Social Security checks, and insurance for Medicare.
Donald Trump is cutting out in a few years, which means what the hell are we supposed to live on? He doesn't give a shit about anything except his upper class pig friends.
Now he says until the final agreement can be signed. Well, there is no final agreement. He's bullshitting on that topic. He has no agreement with Iran. He's just trying to convince you that he has, to make the stock market go up. And if the stock market goes up, then what he does, he and his cronies invest money in the stock market just before he makes these statements. Then he makes these statements, the stock market goes up because people foolishly think he's telling the truth, and then they sell all their stock and they make money, including Trump. So they're making money on the war with Iran at your expense. Now Trump says now, I know that oil may go up to $200, $300 a barrel. That's what he's just saying. But it's a short time pain. Well, even experts say, even if the Strait of Hormuz were to open up right now, which he's not doing, instead he's predicting the price of oil, Trump himself predicting the price of oil will go to $200 or $300 a barrel. And do you know what that's going to do to your price of gas as we get near the midterm elections? You think people are going to be happy? You think that these polls are fake because they don't support Trump, and you think Trump is the most popular and best president that has ever been in the history of the United States? I know my barber tells me that. But obviously, this is a quagmire that Trump has no solution how to get out of. Trump says that this is a small price to pay for ensuring that Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon.
When was the last time Trump pumped gas for himself? When was the last time Trump went to the store to buy these goods? When was the last time he was able to actually find out what he is doing to the average citizen, the people that he's supposed to be working for? When was the last time he had any clue what it was to be in real life?
You're going to start fighting people for a gallon of gas. What do you think that's going to do to your Amazon delivery, who depend on gasoline to get to your house? Any goods being shipped across the United States by truck. Spirit Airline that just went bankrupt. And they're trying to say that it's because Biden didn't approve the merger of Spirit with JetBlue. But that's not true either. And they are in danger of going bankrupt. So had the merger been approved by Biden,
They would
then
both
companies would be going down under right now. Thousands and thousands of people that bought tickets for a Spirit airline and can't even get a flight or get their money back is because the price of jet fuel is too high for Spirit to make any money. Trump is putting a lot of emphasis in saying we had to do this to prevent them from having a nuclear weapon. Well, Iran did not have a nuclear weapon. And they had agreed in the nuclear arms agreement that they had signed with President Obama not to ever develop nuclear weapons. And we had people coming in, inspectors coming in, and Iran was allowing that to show that they are following the terms of the agreement. But Trump tore that up. And you know why Trump tore that up? Because Obama is black, and because he was a black president. Trump couldn't stand the fact that a black person beat him out in 2008 when they had the election and Obama won. Trump hates Obama. And then he hates the fact that Biden, Obama's vice president, won against Trump again in the last 2020 election. So he says that's not possible, so they cheated. And he organized an insurrection against the Capitol. They maimed Capitol police officers. They murdered people. And they stormed the Capitol. They were going to hang Mike Pence for certifying a legal election because he did not refuse to certify the election. The election was not stolen because we know it wasn't stolen. It's been proven in court that it hasn't been stolen, that the election was not stolen. But they want to steal it again, and that's what they're trying to do by convincing you that all their lies are true. And if you believe the lies of Trump, then you are a foolish person because you don't understand that Trump can't tell the truth for 1 New York minute. And I am originally from New York. I lived in New York City.
Got to be pretty sharp. But every time, so I've taken 3. No president, think of this, has ever taken 1. How do you think Biden would have done? I don't think, he might not have gotten that first question right. Anyway, and Obama would have done poorly. They would have done very poorly. But I think you should have it. As soon as they said that, they say it's unconstitutional. And I said, why? They say it's unconstitutional to give a cognitive test like that. But Rick, I do it anytime they start getting a little sassy. And you know, it quiets them down for almost a year when they hear the result. One doctor said, it's the first time I've ever seen anyone get all questions right. That's a doctor who does this stuff for a living. And I did it 3 times. So I don't know. I think I'm done with those days. I'm tired of taking that test.
Donald Trump does have an interest, as he sounds like a fucking moron talking about the most difficult test you could ever take, the squirrel test. And I said, man, woman, squirrel, camera, TV, don't they love me? Yet Donald Trump wants to paint this exam, what I call the should grandpa have his car keys exam, as an aptitude test, as an IQ test, which is not what it is. Donald Trump is being screened for dementia. And so do the oldest members of Congress who continue to get older, who cling to power and who should leave. Do they need these tests? Absolutely, especially when they can't do their jobs or when they aren't doing their jobs.